And I now give the floor to Ms. Wafa'a AlSaidy, who should join us from Sana.
Based on my personal experience as a civilian lives in Yemen, and based on my professional experience as a head of Médecins du Monde, Doctors of the World in Yemen since 2017, that allows me to move in different areas under control of different parties, I'm going to walk you through today like what's happening in Yemen, the normal lives of civilians in Yemen. We see mothers and children dying because of preventable complication during pregnancy or birth. We see a 22-year-old mother who struggled to reach hospital in Aden throughout clashes and roadblocks to give birth, and she ended up losing her baby and undergoing emergency hysterectomy to save her life. We see fathers despairing because they cannot afford to get their malnourished children, to treatment centers. We see patients dying from inability to find or afford their chronic disease medicines. Now, families in Yemen must choose between chronic disease drugs for loved one and food. We see children who survived bombing in Hodeida with post-traumatic stress disorders and specific phobias that leave them afraid even of the sound of rain. This already insufferable situation has been aggravated by the COVID-19 pandemic. Let me tell you about when we conduct awareness campaign about cholera prevention. Many men and women, they express their frustration and ask, how do you want us to wash our hands with plenty amount of water if we struggle to secure enough amounts of water for cleaning and cooking? The Security Council can and should give options back to Yemen. To this end, I have 4 asks. My first ask is to stop war in Yemen. The Council members should put pressure on the many countries, including permanent members of this Council, to put an end to their direct and indirect logistical and military support to military operations in Yemen. At the street level, regular civilians like myself keep wondering if there truly is collective international willingness to end this war, because these countries and other countries continue selling weapons in the region and fueling the war. I also ask this Council to push all warring parties to respect international humanitarian law and humanitarian principles and support safe, unhindered access of affected population to relief, is to maintain aid funding and do not abandon Yemen. Aid cannot and will not replace peace. However, even though the country is still torn apart by the war, facing unprecedented economic collapse, recurrent floods, and a global pandemic, the simultaneous decrease of funding to Yemen is absolutely unjust to affected population in Yemen. Growing up hopeless, powerless, and just waiting for what the world will give them out of charity is not a future that any kid in the world deserves. We want our lives back. We want an equal chance with other nations to work, invent, and build our country. Ladies and gentlemen, Yemen needs the UN Security Council to prevent Yemeni economy from collapsing, to stop the war, instead of stopping the aid. Thank you.